How Reiki and tones energize bioenergy fields of body and spirit. Warning: the sound you are about to hear is a scientific study of an actual human auric field. Please be aware, this is a high-pitched sound.
The following film shows the human energy field radiating outward from the body. It dynamically changes based on the physical conditions, the feeling states, the motivations of the person, in interaction with energy radiation from objects and living things. The existence of the human energy field, or the aura, was validated and studied by over 12 years of high-frequency recordings. This film shows the field not ordinarily seen, but now visible. Like all living things, this little dog has a sizable radiant field, even when he sits quietly. Notice now, as he greets his master, the obvious love and affection between them increases the dynamic radiation from their bodies, even the dog's tail and the man's head. No wonder so many people have pets who give them pleasure and provide a vital field of energy to interact with. Wherever there is motion in the universe, there is increased flow in the field that humans interact with. See the explosive activity from the waves and from his body. Also, the electromagnetic field of the body is negatively charged or ionized, as are waves or tumbling water, which further expands and heightens his field, giving a physical exuberance and emotional excitement. No wonder that a day at the beach is so exhilarating and vitalizing. We all love a babbling brook and the freshness of outdoor vegetation and mountains. Most of us believe that it is relaxation and beauty which refreshes us. From our research, we have discovered that living plants and rarefied atmosphere provide a richer field of negative ions, which heightens and replenishes our own energy field. Notice that the man's field becomes light in color and high in frequency. It sparkles and radiates some distance from his body. See that as the child moves into the mother's field, the affection between them changes the overall field to a pink color. Individuals' fields blend and enhance when there is a warm, caring relationship. These energy fields are the largest and the whitest that we have shown. She is oming. On the breath inhalation, the radiant field diminishes, and on exhalation, it expands and envelops the child. We have known for a long time that Gregorian chants, oming, humming, singing, and whistling create an energy which perks up emotions and brings an expanded consciousness.
Hey, welcome everybody to Andromeda 7, your celestial gateway, your channel for community support, help, friendship, love, knowledge, and just plain being of value to others. Welcome back. If you're new to the channel, it's good to have you with us. If you're returning, thank you. Tonight's show is about how Reiki and tones energize bioenergy fields of body and spirit. And joining us tonight is Grandpa Brian and Jim Puscola. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate that. It's good to see everybody. Max is from Max Vision is joining us, as well as Smokin' and G Sharp. So good to have everybody here. It's a great panel tonight, and it should be a wonderful discussion. I will now turn it over to my beautiful co-host and friend, Teresa D'Antone.
Thank you.
You're
Greetings,
welcome.
everyone, and welcome back, Jim.
Thank
and
you.
Smoking and G and Max. Always good to have you, and of course our very own Dalibor and Brian, and our lovely hostess with the mostest, Lori. And hello and greetings to everyone in the chat room. It's good to see you here too, Mary Wins. Good to see you. And Barry Bro. So many of you. We really
Will do.
appreciate your continued support for the program. And hello to all of our Instagram followers, the Facebook followers. We appreciate you too. All right. Well, as there's a doctor that we have put in the reference section of YouTube, and his name was Dr. William Tiller. He's a pioneer in this whole research in bioenergy field. He was a professor emeritus of material science and engineering at Stanford University. He started the ball rolling, I think, and a lot of people followed in his footsteps. And that video clip you just saw is the type of research that they were engaged in. I have a quote from him for those of you who haven't read the YouTube description. He said, "A condition of health," and he's proved this through his research, "a condition of health exists when each chemical in the physical body has the etheric chemical counterpart in the etheric body at the appropriate concentrations. Scientific studies within the past 2 decades have determined that optimum health states and weak or lessened health states, creativity, altered states of consciousness, lucid dreaming, love, compassion, they each have a specific bioenergy field signature that are part of the mind, body, spirit reference points of awareness in the person's experiential state." Now, I looked it up in ancient Chinese Meridian medicine. I verified this too. And current bioenergy research reveals that specific endocrine glands have different frequencies in color, emotion, sound, and etheric properties. So a lot of our organs do too. There's a woman by the name, some of you might be familiar with her, of Dr. Sue Morter, Morter. She's the founder and a visionary of the Morter Institute of Bioenergetics. She states, and she's got over 30 years of experience in the healing realm here. She states, "Our bodies respond to divine repression. Supporting our self-healing is therefore to identify and remove the many behind-the-scenes blocks of energy flow that can cause physical discomfort, pain, and disease, and conflicting inner and outer worlds." So tonight, Brian and Jim, and for those of you who haven't met him yet, he's been on our show a few times now, Jim Pascala. He's a spiritual leader, teacher, Reiki master, associated and affiliated with All My Relations Medical Physical Superstore in Indiana, where we have Sophia and Brian as well are affiliated with them. And so they're a real team. They've made a major contribution to our program, and they've enriched our offerings to our audience. They even have their own playlist now on our channel. They have so many videos they've done with us. So if you go to our channel playlist, you'll see a whole section in there for All My Relations.
You bet.
Every single one that we've met, Desiree Mattingly, and Sophia, and I'm drawing a blank on her name.
Heather.
Jim, your counterpart, Heather. Thank you, Heather. All of them have been on this program at one point or another and made a significant contribution. So we thank you for that. But you guys have been doing some experimenting on your own with Reiki healing and before and after emotions or healing practices that you've been doing in your classrooms. And so thank you for bringing that to us tonight. I know you've got some good reports, Brian, and we even have some pictures of your aura and the software application that's used with the aura camera to bring out the details. I couldn't believe the details in those reports. They're fascinating. So we'll see how that's done tonight and how they have verified and can document this. So enough out of me. Bounce it over to Lori to do her chat room call out, and then we'll bounce it over to Brian and Lori.
Sounds great. Hey, everybody, please send out some prayers and intent for Chloe. She'd greatly appreciate that. They've got huge, massive storm, pitch black skies, tornadoes, outbreaks all around us. So we send out a big bubble of protection for you. You are protected. All is well in your world, and no harm will come to you. You are divinely protected. It's all good. Let's see, who else do we have? Isby, good to see you. I hope you're feeling better, Isby. It's good to see you.
Hey, Kim.
Elderberry, what's for dinner? I hope it's not squirrel.
Better not be.
Chicken or deep fried squirrel? No.
Cut it out.
You got to slow cook a squirrel.
There you go. There you go.
Will you
Make it
leave
nice
my
and
squirrel
tender.
alone?
We're just kidding around. Don't email us. Hi, Mary Wins. Good to see you. Lucky Stone 888. You've changed your handle. Happy Friday. Good for you. I like it. I like that a lot. Jeannie Musgrave, Jeannie and Michael. Hi. Good to see you both. Thank you for being here. Truth Seeker, love you so much. Glad you're here. It's always a pleasure seeing you. Julie Stowe, I love your little Facebook postings. They're so cute. I love that. So I always watch for those. Yeah, she's great with that. Let's see, who else do we have?
She was rocking those Halloween costumes.
Yeah. We'll have to go back and look.
Go-Go.
Go-Go's here. Very good to see you, Go-Go. Wonderful.
Every time I hear Go-Go, I'm thinking of the old Go-Go dancers, you know.
The Go-Go's?
My boots were made for walking.
I think a Speed Racer. Go, Speed Racer. Go. I'm dating myself. It's all good.
So am I. Oops.
Uh-oh.
Can't help about Nancy Sinatra. That's pretty.
That was
it's
the cool
the dye
stuff.
job on my hair, people. You'll never know.
All right, that's everybody in chat.
Cool beans. So, Brian, tell us about what you've been doing and with Jim. What have you guys been up to?
Yeah.
Well, the study that I did with some coworkers. We've done different things in our classes with the aura fields and tuning forks and stuff. But with my coworkers, I've actually got to do 2 sessions with them, one in the morning and one at lunchtime. And I got to see how through the course of the first part of the day, how their aura changed from in the morning to the afternoon. And it's really fascinating. Some of the documentations that, I did in the morning time, I looked at their auras, and then that's when I did the frequencies. And then at lunchtime is when I re-looked at their auras to see what their aura fields were. And then that's when I performed the Reiki on them.
Now, those frequencies you got from John Max Vision gave you certain frequencies you could use for this?
Yes. 7.83, which is Earth's frequency, the human resonance. 963, which I do believe is the crown chakra. 396, the root chakra, and then I did the 432 and 528 combined, which 432 is the DNA and 528 is RNA. Is that correct, Max?
Yeah,
or John?
Exactly right.
Yeah, I was wondering if Max would have any input on those specific frequencies. But what did they do for us, Max?
Well, they activate different chakras. The Earth, okay, you want to take a range of frequencies. And with the chakra system, 963 being at the top, 639 or 396 at the bottom, you're going to get a range of color variation if you're using a color spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's important to get the color range. The 432 and 528 will be a healing frequency. So you should see something in the auric field, maybe getting better or, improving in some way. And yeah, that's really about it.
It would interest me if there's any correlation between these frequencies and like not necessarily numerology, but gematria. Because for example, like the gematria value for internet is 619, which is an interesting number because it's not only the golden section number, but it's also upside down. It's the same thing, 619. See what I mean?
Yeah, right. Wow. Fascinating. So, Brian?
So, is there a correlation or with those frequencies to numerology or not?
It could be because most things work in synchronicity, it seems.
Yeah, that's what I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be something to check out. I couldn't answer that question.
Well, you look, the crown chakra is what, 963, and then you have the root chakra
in
at
Hebrew, that's
396. You know, they have the same three numbers in each one of those.
Yeah.
396.
And your middle chakra has 639.
Yeah, and in Hebrew,
Yeah.
that's Keter. That's Kethr. I don't know offhand what the gematria value of that is, but
Oh, that's
What does that word mean?
crown.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
You said 369. If you add those three numbers together, what do you have? 18. That comes to a 9. 9 is
Completion.
the frequency of a vibration when it comes to what we call service. In a simple numerology, every number has a strength of its own, just like one is leadership. And if you're going to be a 1, you're the one that has to lead the parade. Number 2, of course, it has to do with relationships. And sometimes people are good at it or they're very challenged with it. But back to number 9, that's the highest frequency symbolically in numbers, because 0 doesn't count because it's considered a God number symbolically. Because in the number, do we all exist? To some extent, we're also the zeros, but as far as humanoids, because we're dealing with our human bodies when it comes to numbers. It's like
And also there is no frequency of 0 hertz.
That's right.
It does not exist.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That's why number 9 stands at the highest ratio of service to humanity. So that's why that number 9 would be very positive for people. If you find out that a lot of people, if you were to check out their birth numbers, they would have a lot of 9s. That's service, meaning like nurses and people that do stuff like that. Caregivers, very notorious for that. Even
I got 9.
waitress are number 9s. A lot of them, not all, but because there's a lot of other factors. But what is your destiny? What did you come here to accomplish? What was your purpose? So it's like, I'm a number 7. So what am I here to do? Something spiritual, because 7 has to do with your own spiritual journey. What are you supposed to accomplish? And 5, people that are number 5s love to change. Did you know that? Oh my God.
Yeah.
5. But the 5 love
John.
Oh, yeah, they love it. I have a daughter that's number 5. She used to, well, she's living back in Chicago now. Anyways, one time on her second journey there, she lived in 6 different apartments in 5 years.
Wow.
Moves
That's
in
a
5
lot
years.
of change.
That's a lot of moving, folks.
Yeah.
If you think about moving in Chicago, you don't want to move that much in Chicago.
It's constant
So,
change,
it's just an idea that
consistent.
dealing with certain numbers, that's a frequency of its own, just like you guys are talking about that. I've never took time to study that, but that makes a lot of sense. Back to your aura in the general, because you can affect it just by what you're thinking.
Yeah, interesting that your aura does change with your energy. So it's not like you take a picture and that's my aura and that's solid. It's never going to change. It's constantly moving and flowing with your attitude, how you're feeling about yourself, who's in your auric field, what's happening in your area. So yeah, it's fascinating how it affects and how you can pick up on that energy.
Yeah, I've done that with the camera that Brian showed you his pictures. We've tested it where I just sat there and I changed my mood deliberately and the color changed. It was very fascinating when you did that because it's like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Like they showed you deal with other people, plants, animals, rock. They all can change your energy field because of their frequency and how you can connect with them and resonate. But if you're not at peace, you're never going to find peace at anything.
That's true.
People ask me all the time, how do you get to do what you do?
Yeah.
Relax and be at peace.
I know exactly what you're saying, Jim, on that. I
stress
downloaded an app and I could sit there and change my auric field and the color just by thinking. So if I wanted to change it, I would be like mad. And then if I felt a lot of love, it would change. And that's when I realized how it works. So that's fascinating that you just
It is very
kind of,
fascinating.
back that
If you
up.
pick up a crystal, like I have a couple favorites that I really resonate with. They're like a family to me. And I wouldn't crush them or break them or put them in my pots, because I wanted to keep them for myself. And I keep them on the table out back, which is where I meditate under my gazebo. And I have specific ones that I hold in my hand out of that tray. And my whole emotional state changes. I can be kind of sad or I can be kind of worn out or feeling insecure, not knowing why, or anxious and not knowing why, there's certain ones I'll pick up and hold, and my whole entire outlook changes. Just because they're vibing at a certain frequency, and I think they're communicating with me. In fact, I've had my recent one, my Labradorite, actually spoke to me. So in my thoughts, telepathically, but that's the first one that's ever done that. But and some people might go, well, that's crazy. I'm like, no, it's not. I mean, it telepathically gives me thoughts. And it helped me with one of my downloads.
I can relate to that. A friend of mine had a meteorite that he found.
Mm-hmm.
It was a perfect sphere about this big. But every time you hold it, well, I held it, right between my eye there, on my forehead, would start to get a tickle.
Uh-huh.
And it felt like it was starting to activate my third eye.
You know what does that? That Karen had sent me Oralite 22, is it called? Or it's either Oralite 26 or 22. I can't remember. It's got 22 different elements in it. It's meteor infused. You can only get it there in Canada. And she sent me a chunk of that, and I was laying in bed, and I put it on my forehead. And I had a tingling sensation that went from the bottom of my spine all the way up my spinal column up to the back of my neck. It's like getting chills, like cold chills, but you could feel the tingling motion. And then you could feel each joint go snap, snap, like a release. And then I had a vision. I was able to visualize more detail. So that's why I put it by my bed sometimes when I want to lay down and I want to travel. I'll put that next to me, and it'll help boost my vision. That's what Oralite does. Mm-hmm. So they have different. So they definitely, all living matter has frequency.
So technically,
even plants, trees,
stuff that you eat. Like for example, I eat lots of cheese, and that's a microorganism. Cheese, you know, that's yeast cells actually, and those are the same yeast cells that make wine or beer. So, when you're eating cheese, you're getting that same frequency as if you're drinking wine or drinking beer, technically speaking.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not yelling, don't eat me, is it? Because I'm going to have a hard time eating cheese now.
No, that's the thing.
Everything screams when you eat it.
Everything. I'm sure it doesn't want to be eaten, right? So, how does
that must be its life's purpose? I'm cheese, eat me.
I guess so. Because if you reincarnate as a plant, then chances are you're going to be eaten by something.
That's pretty. Yeah. Well, I think animals know this too. Mm-hmm. I mean, I do. I remember.
Yeah. Who chooses to be a nice juicy apple, right? You're done.
That's why I say bite me all the time. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I digress.
Boy.
I digress. No. Just having fun. Okay, so Brian, we could go about this two different ways. We could show everybody the photographs of your aura. You could tell us about it and show them some of the reports associated with that. And then talk about the specific differences you noticed with these people with these different frequencies, or we could flip that and start that first. How do you want to?
Let's start with the picture of my aura and stuff, and then we'll go into
Lori, you feel
the experiment that I did.
Of course.
All right.
So excited.
Okay, bear with me here while I pull it all up here. And of course, I cannot see anybody's, but I do have a monitor.
Yep.
All right. So
Can you explain the technology being used here?
Don't go there.
How the camera operates. Like doesn't look like Carillion photography, which I was familiar with.
A little bit. Here we go. There we go.
Yeah, so it's a aura camera. Can you tell us a little bit about the camera?
Yeah,
Brian?
Jim, what's the equipment you use?
That we would have to ask Heather.
Oh, okay.
I'm not really sure specific. She's right here.
Oh, there's Heather. Oh, cool.
Oh, wonderful.
Bring her in, and she can explain the process of the picture getting taken.
All right, musical chairs.
It's expensive too.
We're back again. Okay, this system is an actual video system. And what we do, we have a keypad that they would put their hand on, and it's roughly about 18, I think it is, different sensors. And each of the sensors, later on, if you look at some of the graphs and pictures, they're biofeedback sensors, and they will pick up your heartbeat, your body temperature, it'll pick up stress levels, and it'll pick up different frequencies on whether more of your energy coming out would be you're more centered on your mind energy or your spiritual energy or your emotional energy. It picks up what's running your body. Is your body going on its own energy, or is it being pushed by your emotions? Like your emotions are going right foot, left foot. Come on, you got to get up and go. Or your body's just moving on its own and you don't worry about it. So with those biofeedback sensors, it gives us a lot of information.
Interesting.
Wow.
Hang on just a second here. I got to pull, and I can't do it without dropping that. There we go. Go back to this.
Yeah, Trina was just saying Killian photography. Yeah.
Yeah, Kirlian photography is a different type. This doesn't use that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
This report, by the time we print it all up for you, you get a headshot, you get a full body scan, and then the report itself runs right around 20 to 22 pages long.
Yeah, it's quite in depth. No
Quite
doubt
in
about
depth.
it.
There's the full body scan. Yeah.
That's a lot of
That's
reading.
showing the chakras too.
It'll tell you which chakras are balanced. It'll tell you a lot of information. A lot.
I want one.
How far out?
Me
Yeah,
too.
me too.
Or extend.
So can you read some of that, Lori?
Where are you
Or
going?
Let's see.
I might be
again.
affecting it.
Okay.
I can highlight it and read it. Hang on.
I'm going to let Jim come on
Go
back
down
on
that
now,
way.
guys.
Thank you.
Jim.
So that
Brian,
red
can you send
circle,
this to read it, honey?
excuse
you want
me, the red circle indicates the size of your aura and is an important indicator of how much energy you radiate around you. So a large, wide aura, 75 to 100, indicates a strong and powerful radiance. Other people can feel your strong aura. Use your charisma and aura power to achieve your goals and dreams. So his is about 80%. So he's in that large, wide auric field. And also it looks like the shape of it has something to do with it as well. So round would be a balanced, harmonious chakra. Oval, slightly unbalanced chakra. And it looks to me like his
Is oval.
is just a bit oval. But he does expend a lot of energy when he helps people,
Well, he
and I
was
wonder about
chasing
that.
Luna. He was chasing Luna.
Oh, that's right.
She broke away from him. He had to chase her for a few blocks and then chase her back home.
Mhm.
Right, Brian?
Oh, yes.
Oh, so you were coming off of that, and then you go in and you do this.
Yeah, that's why my root chakra is so small, because I was still stressed out from her taking off on me and me having to chase her, and then plus trying to get out to all my relations, the amount of traffic at that point in time. And it took me about 15 minutes longer. So I was under a little stress at that point in time when I had this done. That's why my root chakra is so small.
Awesome.
Yeah, normally he wouldn't be that closed down because his work requires him to be very grounded. He's got to go on the roof, and you don't want to be up in your clouds on the roof. You want to be grounded.
Sure.
It's
a
phenomenon, but that's what happens. So that's why like he said, his root chakra was non-existent, only because he was stressed about the physical world right there. He wanted to be less physical. Because that's what happens when you start to think a certain fear or sensitivity to something. Then either you're closing or opening that particular chakra up just by how you feel energetically. Your own energy shifts up.
That's absolutely proof positive right there, because that reflected what was going on with him at the time that this was taken. So that's scientific proof right there.
Right there. Well, you see how at the little square, how the blue, that was at the very beginning of it. And then by the time it was done, you see how I became more relaxed because the green started growing taller. So that's showing that, yeah, I was really stressed at the very beginning, but I started to relax. And by the time we were all done, I was more relaxed than when I first showed up there to have this done.
Yeah, and that indigo channel represents the intuitive energy. The green channel represents your mental energy, and the light blue is the channel represents your emotional energy. Red represents the physical energy. So yeah, that totally makes sense. It falls right in line with it. So
Yeah.
fascinating.
If you can go back to the circle graph real quick.
You betcha.
You notice how my two lines are almost on top of each other. You see below it.
Yeah, the yin and yang balance with needles close together indicates
that I'm well balanced in the masculine and feminine.
I would say yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And I think that's real important, especially for guys, because a lot of guys don't know how to connect with their feminine energy. So,
and some females can't connect with their masculine
right.
energy. So yes, yin and yang.
They seem to be in harmony, is what that's saying.
Yes.
Wow, this thing really dumps out a lot. Hey, Lori, go back to the one with the bars for a second. Those even bars indicate that different energy channels are flowing in harmony, and each part of your system is vibrating at the same frequency. Uneven bars show there's a disharmony in your energy flow, and part of your system may be out of balance. So look, it's very little. It's very subtle with him. And the only reason it's doing that is because of that dog chase.
Yes.
Otherwise, it would probably be pretty even.
Pretty even.
If you go back and compare it to the color chart. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Cool. What's that one with the wave lines?
How about here's your aura chakra balance. And you're in looks like, wow, average balance, aura, and chakra are not fully balanced. Very unbalanced. Wow. So this measures that as well. Interesting. And then your crown chakra, located on the top of the head and corresponds to intuition, spirituality, enlightenment, related body area and organs, our brain, nervous system, and top of head. Wow. Medium, intuitive, radiant, sensitive, and spiritual qualities. See, this really breaks it all down in a way that you just don't, I don't think people really understand how
what this means
complex
to me.
it is.
It means to me, if I had this done on myself, it might help me target areas.
There you go.
For spiritual development and improvement.
Exactly.
It would help me determine what's out of alignment. As I'm trying to learn how to use my own intuition, and as I'm growing and expanding and getting more knowledgeable of myself, this could help you along the way.
Absolutely. And then you get into your, absolutely, it's a tool. You get into your mind, body, and spirit graph. And this mind, body, spirit graph gives you an overview of how your energies are distributed between body, mind, and spirit. So it looks like the green is your focus. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger. Yeah. The green, which looks like to be about 30%, is your creativity, mental and emotional expression and communication. The lighter blue, that's 40%. Your focus is on personal development, feelings, intuition, spirituality, and inner qualities.
A little bigger than the rest.
Powerful, I would say. And your body, the blue, your focus is on physical reality and results and body-related activities, which are very physical during the day. So, yeah, you got quite the balance going on for sure. And then you get into the emotion meter. The emotion meter shows your emotional reactions, true thoughts and inner feelings. Real-time graphic indicates immediate response of true feelings and thoughts. So even this seems to has its little boops, but then
it's square, so it's a leveling off. He's coming down. He's relaxing now.
It's just after the dog chase too, right?
There you go.
That's what I'm saying.
The stress a little bit.
Shows him evening out. That's what it shows.
Yeah. So that would probably typically be a little flatter than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then your state of mind body graph. The state of mind body graph displays your overall mind body condition and is based on your body temperature. So stressed conditions will register when the needle moves towards the left side. So that concurs with
It's
and
mildly
supports.
stressed. Yeah.
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 Supports why you were feeling that way. Yeah, and then if you are in a relaxed, harmonious state, the needle will move towards the right of the graph. So fascinating.
I guarantee you, Brian, if Ruby ran off like that, my stress needle would be all the way over to the far left.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Seriously. I'm glad she listened to you, though, and came back.
Yeah.
All right, heart chakra.
Yeah. And then this gets into the solar plexus corresponds to personal power, creative, intellectual thoughts, related body areas and organs are stomach, solar plexus, and liver. It looks to me like it showed a little bit of low creativity at that moment, intellectual and analytical thinking or playful qualities. You weren't really feeling much like playing at that point.
Well,
yeah.
I hardly ever get to play. I mean, you know, I'm always busy with work. I always have stuff to do after work. And then on the weekends, I'm usually working down at the cabin.
Yeah.
Tell me I need to find some me time to where I'm not constantly work. Even though when I go down the cabin, I do work. I do enjoy that because I'm down there. But I need to find time where it's not just work. It's just me. Just fun time.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to play. You need to have playtime. Play. Definitely. I understand that one. The heart chakra is located around the heart, corresponds to the unconditional love, self-love, and forgiveness. It relates to the balance between the body, mind, spirit. Related body areas and organs are heart, lungs, chest, circulation, arms, and hands. Well, that's interesting. So I average loving and sensitive qualities, but I would say it's way more than that. But again, this is the time that
we'll wait until you see his cumulative report.
Yeah,
because it has a way of doing some kind of mathematics there, and it gives him an analysis which shows him very high.
Okay, here it is. Yeah, this graph indicates your overall aura chakra balance. So. Average balance, aura, and chakras are not fully balanced. Yeah, you're kind of in the middle there. Yeah. Fascinating.
Well, it's also quite, you know, these readings can go up and down very quickly too.
Yeah, and that's just a true testament to how it works. So
play some music and boom, you're like there at the top of your relaxation level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that is it of the slides. I'm going to go ahead and close this out.
So, John, for years when I was in high school, there was this big thing in the community where the parents were going bat crazy over the fact that certain types of music were affecting their kids in such a way as to turn them onto drugs, make them violent, make them act out. Certain frequencies, I guess, in that music. So that could be true, that what they were saying all along.
Well, that was done in 1939, I think. The German government petitioned to change all of the tuning of all the instruments from 432 to 440.
Yes, with Rockefeller funds.
And that it aggravates people. It's an aggravation on your nervous system. So it's been constant since then. So all instruments have been tuned to 440 instead of 432.
Now, before the show, you mentioned something. You held up a phone with frequencies that the internet companies were using, and you were showing how they're affecting us on purpose with certain frequencies that evoke these emotions out of us, right?
Yeah, it's
cause us to become more stressful.
Yeah, it'll vary depending on people's area or I'll just show you the listing here. So this has been the past few days. We've been running around 68, 70. And 68, 70 is an emotional state, an emotional frequency level. People, what happens after that is if you hit a 70 to 72 for a couple of days or a day, it only takes one real good spike and people get sick. But right now they're working on us emotionally. They'll wait until they usually wait until just before Christmas to actually hit us with the higher levels of radiation to get.
Are they hitting us with the shopping bug? Like, go shopping, go shopping.
No,
Yeah, I think so.
Just aggravation. Just aggravation right now.
Subliminal messaging through sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'd like to ask the panel, you watch a movie or a show, and all of a sudden you start to get emotional and cry. And you don't know why. It's like, no, this normally doesn't bug me. Why am I so sucked into this? I think they are playing one of those tones that John mentioned to hit us at an emotion, and they hide it in the music.
You can hear it, yes.
They hide it in those
having
violins.
That hum in the background of every movie theater.
Yeah, this is not not surprising to me because as a theater arts person, I did sound and stage lighting design work, and we always chose music. Now, we didn't go in on a from a scientific perspective, say we were picking a certain frequency to evoke an emotion. We just knew that the tone that it was giving us was what we needed for a death scene, or
D
the
minor.
tone, or the tones that were being used was for a happy scene, and so the music
C
was
major.
carefully selected, along with the kind of lighting we used with the gobos and the gels, the light gels that you drop into each lantern to get the more greenish color. If you wanted to show a scene where they were really sick, a reddish pink color if you wanted to show a scene where it's more passionate. So we worked with color and sound. I had to take physics of sound and physics of light as part of the course curriculum. And when you did your lighting designs and your set designs, for whether it was dance was something. Dance theater was even more so this way. But so I can understand, we were doing that. It was called reinforcing the mood. Setting the theme and reinforcing the mood is what we called it. But if you look at this from a scientific perspective, it's real. You're yes.
They do this during newscasts, especially during the intermission sequences, where they have those complex graphics with like a lens, and the iris of the lens closing or opening, and all these unnecessarily complex graphics. There's mind control in that too. It's not just the frequency and the lighting and the music and the tones. No, it's all of that combined, and it could even be stuff that we're not privy to yet, like scalar waves that can transmit over the internet without being measurable by any kind of a gadget or device like this thing, or whatever.
Do you remember that movie Wag the Dog?
Yeah.
Where they created a green screen and they had the woman come out with she had a scarf over her head. And she was supposed to be from some Serbian type country, and
Albania.
And they had her, Albania, and that bombs were. I mean, they really set the stage for that whole dramatic scene to make people believe they were actually watching a town being blown up.
Yeah. And they're doing that right now. They're doing the same exact thing, except they changed the country.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I don't want to get too far off base, but I mean, it does demonstrate that the potential here of how these things can be used in various different ways. But let's talk about the healing property and how the Reiki, how different frequencies like the ones John gave you, how they affected people. He had specific frequencies. You want to review that, Brian?
Yes. So with my first subject, and I did the first 2 experiments in the morning, and then I did 2 more in the afternoon on each one. So in the morning, subject 1 had a blue aura with some green in it, green around the middle. And this person's a talker. He's a communicator. He doesn't shut up all day long. No, he just talk.
Sounds like a venter to me.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. He just
kind of people where they're just,
always talking.
Yeah.
So that morning I played the 7.83, the Schumann resonance, and his aura in the morning was, like I said, a blue with a little bit of green. But when I played that frequency, after a couple minutes, the lower half of his aura was a reddish color, and the upper part of it was more of a greenish color. It was almost like a two-toned color. When I did the 963, within a couple minutes, his aura was indigo color.
Wow.
Really resonating with that frequency. Then with subject one, we worked through the course of the day, and then at lunchtime, I worked, looked at his aura again, and his aura was bluish up top because, he was communicating like me. The lower half of him was red, but he had a lot of yellow down the right side of him, which yellow is the intellect. So he is one of our foremen. So, he's always having to think of, who do I need to have here, do this, that, and there. So, and it was showing, he was doing what he was supposed to be doing because he was being grounded. The yellow was showing me that, he was being a foreman. And then I did Reiki on him. When we all went down off the roof, we got down there. I said, okay, just sit down, relax, clear your mind, and feel this energy that I'm getting ready to give you. So with him, I worked on his third eye and his heart chakra. And sure enough, after a couple minutes of doing Reiki, his aura was back to the indigo and just green all through the middle.
Did he say anything about how he felt? Did he feel the energy? Did you get any feedback from him?
Yeah, he felt the energy just like if I was working on someone in my class or in my group.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can tell he's kind of receptive because I've been talking to him a little bit about this stuff. So he was real receptive. Actually, 3 of the 4 were real receptive to the Reiki because they know I've talked to them about the Reiki. A couple of them I've actually done the Reiki on before, and they felt the energy. So they kind of knew what was going on. When I get to subject 4, I'll explain everything about subject 4.
Okay.
So on subject 2, this was a younger person. Their aura was a light blue. When I did the 396 on him, and I did the 432, 528 with him. So when I did the 396, majority of his aura, it stayed kind of blue up top, but the majority of his aura down low started to turn red to correlate with the red. And that's one thing I did find out about this and with mine. Your color almost kind of coordinates with what chakras are lit up the most. So like if you see my picture,
that's what it sounds like.
The indigo, my third eye was why that was the biggest chakra there. That's why I do believe my aura was the indigo, because that was the one that was most opened up. When I did the 432, 528, his aura was green and indigo.
Nice.
Boy, I tell you, every parent in the world should be able to read the auras of their kids.
Right. And
I'm serious.
Yeah, and it was kind of a mix, what I'm saying? The colors, it went like indigo, green. They were actually kind of mixed together throughout the aura.
But if you see yellow in that aura, they're lying. That's how you can tell if somebody's lying. If you see like a yellow streak in the aura, that's how you can usually tell.
Huh.
I didn't
Now,
know.
see, I would get it
Mhm.
if they had certain chakras closed, and you could tell if they were withholding their true feelings about something.
Mm-hmm.
Because kids will do that. They'll mask. So will adults. But
Yeah.
when a child masks, it can be very dangerous depending on what you're coaching or counseling them for, or what their issues are. And if they're not being truthful with the staff that's trying to work with them, then I can see where they would be vibrating at lower frequencies and or be highly stressed or anxious and telling you, I'm fine. I'm okay. I did what you
Yeah.
suggested last night. I did the exercise and I feel better. So the counselor
Mhm.
thinks they're making progress with the kid, but the kid's really being eaten up inside.
Mm-hmm.
So their aura would probably reveal their true emotional state.
Oh, most definitely.
But using it as a lie detector, I'm not that I'm trying to wrap my head around that one. But yeah,
Well, that would get into intuitiveness and
yeah,
Yeah.
knowing that something's not quite right there. So
Mhm.
I get what Dalabor's saying on that.
yeah,
Mhm.
I get it. I'm just sitting there trying to think of like yellow streak, because I mean, I've seen yellow in people's auras all the time, and yellow has a very but you're talking about like a streak, a lot,
Like a
like a
flash. Like a flash.
okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
Because truth has its own vibration, and when you're not
I
telling the truth,
see.
that has
Yeah.
its own vibration
I
as
get you
well.
now. I was trying to
Mhm.
visualize it. Okay, I got you now.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Brian, so the your reading of with the blue or indigo up top and the green in your main body, that showed a pretty balanced chakra system, right? Is that and
It was like their third eye is open
mhm.
and their heart chakra's open. Jim could probably elaborate more on, you know.
Yeah, what I'm saying is like yours was balanced and it had those indicators there. And when you played the 432 and 528, that seemed to kind of mirror that same effect of balanced chakras and system.
That could be true because I mean, you know, like you said, you know, the 432 is our DNA and the 528 is the RNA. So,
What
you know, them
RNA?
two frequencies together should help balance you, I would
Mhm.
believe. What do you think?
Well, naturally, everything affects everything. Just like I always say when I hear old song, like every bone in your body is connected to the other bone. So your chakras can always lap over one to another. Sometimes if one is extremely overactive, which can actually happen, especially if you're like over emotional, the navel chakra, people just start affecting their energy field because chakra above the emotional center has to do with your physical energy. That's the solar plexus. And when that gets drained because you get too emotional, like distraught or something, that's why the two can both go down to flat zero, if you want to call it nothing.
Mhm.
And that's obviously would be very depleting of a person's anything, maybe else. It could affect a lot of other things, including their heart, depending on what the emotional stems from. You know, if it's a romantic thing, love, well, guess what? It can affect so much of your body. You can just, that's why if let's say you could find somebody that was completely depressed, I put them on the machine, see what would happen. That would just be a study, but naturally it would be not really enlightening other than the fact that they're pretty flat, I call it, which means a lot of very low or small indicators, but they could also be overactive because again, if you're over emotional, that's not necessarily good. That's, you got to
Mhm.
find that balance. That's what the universe is based on, balance. If you can create balance inside of your body, then you have an absolute good fighting chance to survive in this world as a human being. Because that's what we're attempting to do. Our spirit knows what to do. Our body's trying to figure it all out later through the brain. And that's an amazing battle that goes on between. I've been teaching a lot of what I call your spiritual body and your physical body. The more that they work together, then you're going to feel good about your whole life in general. And you're also going to know that I'm here for a purpose, which is your spirit saying, oh, you better get to work. You have a mission. You better get this activated to get started. And then another part of your body says, I'm tired, I'm going to bed, screw you guys, hell with you. And that's what happens. The body gets into the modes and moods that stem from emotions that, it's very interesting. The ETs, they claim, deal with intelligence. Humans deal with emotions. That's our drive. It really
Yep, absolutely it is. I agree with you. Yep.
Not that your brain can't affect you greatly. Of course, it always does. But
Jim, Dr. Mortar was she was having a discussion with Colette Barron-Reed, I think it was.
Yes,
Lori.
correct. Mm-hmm.
And she was having a discussion, and they were talking about the concept of resistance. Why do we have so much resistance when it comes to certain things that we either believe or practice or, we're not sure about? Or resistance in relationships, or resistance in making decisions. And it's such a cause for high anxiety and different altered states of emotions that cause us to make poor decisions and stuff. But what she said, she was explaining it from a quantum physics perspective and trying to explain it scientifically. And she says that when high frequency energy, which is what we're made of, right? As spirit beings, hits the density of matter, which is where we currently reside in the third dimension in our human bodies and forms.
Mm-hmm.
There's a natural law of physics at place that states that friction occurs when high frequency energy hits that low frequency energy, and it occurs. And inside the human experience, it looks like resistance. It feels like we're pressing ourselves against a wall. She described it. That's true. I have felt that before. Or and this would come into play like if you're having trouble with family members, co-workers, your partners. It's that. How did she say it, Lori? That rub. It's in that space where that rub occurs, where those two energies are meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we start to feel, and then we start to sense, and then we start to choose in accordance with what we will allow to come in to our reality, what we allow to come in. If we allow the love and the light, we'll get that. If we allow that negative emotion or judgment or preconceived expectation to rule us.
So gaining control of the emotions of it and recognizing it being aware. Mm-hmm.
And she actually said we're making an agreement. We're making an agreement with reality to experience something a certain way. And if we limit ourselves and close ourselves off, then we have more of that resistance. And so I brought it up because it reminded me when Jim was just talking about how these people are reacting. It might be that they've met resistance, and if we can just help them unlock that and let go, and that's what Lori did with me not so long ago. So once you have that release,
I'm not resisting.
Right? Not me.
Yeah, not me. You don't recognize it. It's because it's such a.
Watch your body language. I do that a lot when I'm talking with people.
I love that.
It tells what if they can accept it, like you just. Am I receiving it, or am I blocking and pushing it away? Right. It's no different than actually with the Reiki or healing energy. You can tell when people don't accept it. I can, at least. I know Brian does too.
Yeah.
But when they're open to it, it's like they're sucking up every inch of whatever you send them, every bit of it. Oh my goodness! Sometimes like they're pulling on me. Like, are you kidding me? So much because it makes them feel so good. Like I'm getting it all right. Yeah, right. They tell on themselves. They really do.
Yeah, that's true.
Their body talks. I always say their body talks to me.
Yeah, most definitely. As long as you're in the observer mode and you're observing it and picking up those cues.
Yeah.
Yes. Smoke Energy, you had a comment there. Did you want to comment on that?
Whatever it was. I don't know now. But can I interject something totally
please do.
different?
Absolutely.
Because I'm the musician, so tone and vibration is
there you go.
Very interesting to me. I'm going to share something if that's okay.
Absolutely.
back in 2005, I went to a hippy dippy retreat. Are you shocked? No.
Nope.
So I had this used on me. It is an Indian drum. I'm sure some of you are familiar with it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did is they held the open part over. I laid down on a table. They held the open part down towards me, and I'm on the wrong, and banged on the top, and it sent this deep vibration through my body like I can't describe.
I've been in some drumming circles. It's amazing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But just to have someone do one of these particular drums on you is healing. It's the vibration was just phenomenal, you know.
There's
So
there's a frequency called Abrams healing. It's 4.2 hertz, which is 4 beats a second. And most of the lower frequencies in that range are actually very healing. So
I felt
if
it.
you're pounding out a drum beat at 2 to 3 to up to 4 beats a second, that's going to be a healing frequency, guaranteed.
Yeah, it was a great experience.
Well, that's in our group on Wednesday night. We do a drumming circle with our healing. So they're drumming while we're healing, and that's just phenomenal. You can, of course, standing up when you're in the middle of the circle, it's like, oh yeah, you can feel that all the way through your whole body.
Absolutely, yes.
And of course, the frequency changes because these are not paid professional drummers. We just have people that were willing to drum. And there's a few people that know the frequency, like you said, they just know it. It's hard to explain because they just know it and feel it, and that's how they beat the drum. Because
yes.
But of course, when people get a little tired of drumming, they may stop, somebody else up, and they're going to change the beat a little bit. And the difference is body, believe it or not.
Yep, most definitely.
Thank you for bringing that up. That's very true.
I have a list of about 2 pages of almost, well, not every, but a lot of the frequencies between about 0 to 10 hertz, and a lot of them are in the lower frequency. They're all healing and stimulating to different parts of the body. So if you're in that range anywhere, you're pretty guaranteed you're going to get some benefit from it. Absolutely.
There's a channel. There's a few of them. But Lori and I watched this one. He works with the singing bowls and sound and light and color. And he just gets a rhythm going with those different frequencies that just completely helps you transmute whatever you've got going inside out. It completely lifts you and relaxes you. And he's got it for healing, emotional healing, but he also has it for healing your body if you have aches and pains. And so I've been looking into it a little bit more. I haven't put as much attention into it because I've been pretty busy with all this lately, but I want to get back to it because
Does he have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, he has a YouTube channel, and
I'd like that, please.
You would like? Okay, I'll email you the link. So I have it saved. He has it too. The first one she showed me, he was just working with 3 basic colors, but the second one, he worked with a row of. He had every frequency. You know how the singing bowls come out in certain. So I may have 6 singing bowls. He had 6 going in blue, 6 going in pink, 6 going, and he rotated from it and did alternating frequencies with it. It was just amazing what he was doing with it. He's like a musician of frequency.
There you go.
That would be awesome.
Well, I'll see if I can find it and send it to all of you.
Frequencies of vibration, and our bodies are mainly water. So when that vibration is around your body, it vibrates through your whole body.
That's interesting that you mentioned that, because when you cry and you release that water, you're literally releasing the emotions from your body.
Purging.
Yeah.
You've heard people say, I need a good cry. I just need a really good cry.
Yeah.
And other people judge them and go, well, if you were truly in balance, you wouldn't need to cry. It's like, oh,
bullshit.
Yeah, you don't know what the word release means, do you? Lori.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Now, I listen to a lot of frequencies, a lot of healing frequencies, and there's a reason for that. That's because we're getting attacked right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Trina,
oh,
hi
There are
Trina.
frequencies coming
big
at
time.
us on a constant basis. And one way we
Mhm.
can counter that is with beneficial frequencies,
Mhm.
because they're going to be stripping down our DNA, RNA on a constant basis. We need things to build it back up. I would
Yeah.
suggest everybody sleep with 432 and 528 playing in the
Mhm.
background
Yeah.
on your
Low
computer.
volume. Mm-hmm.
Very low volume.
Mm-hmm.
You probably will notice effects.
Mhm.
Some people here are doing it. Can you give
Mhm.
some of the effects that you felt?
Well, I stopped getting up in the middle of the night and peeing. I notice I sleep more soundly through the course of the night. I'm not tired when I wake up in the morning. So there's a lot of good benefits to it.
That's a mirror of my experience.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Trina said she had a client cry last night. It was wonderful. Yeah, you're helping her open up.
I have the same experience. I don't get up in the middle of the night very often.
Mhm.
I do. I wake up refreshed. When you wake up and you know how you drag your ass out of bed. You don't do that anymore.
Uh-huh.
Nope.
You just get up. I'm up. That's
Well,
it.
I must admit, when my body says it's time to release, I get up and I release.
Yep.
Has that been normal throughout your life, or is
Yeah.
that new?
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Same
Okay.
here.
Your
Well, my
body says
dog.
it's time to do something. I listen to it and I go, okay, because if you don't, that could be a real
Yeah,
problem.
I used to have that groggy body in the morning. So for me,
Yeah.
it was dragging my butt out of bed,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
that the frequency kind of helped with that.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. Yeah. It stabilizes the sleep, I think, in a way that you don't get when you don't have that tone or that energy kind of flowing through your brain. So
Yeah,
I
I
get
don't
that.
feel right when I don't have it on now. If I
Ah,
don't sleep,
okay.
Exactly.
yeah.
Wow. That's fascinating.
Try it tonight. Don't sleep with it. See if you feel a little bit off.
I'll try it.
Yeah,
Cool.
I always like to do that experiment with it.
Yeah, Trina says, now remember to feel it. Nothing's real until we feel it. That's true.
Yep.
Very true. And then Jeannie says, I usually cry lately for others more than for myself. Ooh, she cries for others more than she does
Well,
for
she's
herself.
highly empathic. Yeah.
True. She does pick up on the energy,
Mhm.
but you release for them. That's fascinating to me.
Mhm.
Huh. That's true empath then.
Oh, yeah.
Truly
Mhm.
empathic.
Shut
Yeah.
down.
Huh.
I was going to put those two. I'll put two links in chat
All right.
for people to use. I just take these literally right off of YouTube.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. I do it with my phone, and then I've got some earbuds I just put in and turn it really low and just let it go.
We did a show with John with Max Vision not so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
One was on color therapy and the other was on sound, and he went through a list of frequencies. We shared a list on that program, so if you go watch that, it's got a lot of information in there.
There's also web pages online. You do a search for online tone generator. There's web pages where you can just plug in a number and it'll play that frequency for you.
Yeah.
I got a question for Smokin' and G. You're a musician and you play music, and I would assume that you probably write and do your own music. Do you find yourself kind of gravitating towards different tones and pieces of it? And when it resonates with you, because I like to write music too. I don't physically write it, but I just kind of like sit down and do it. But I
Yeah.
notice some tones really speak to me, or it's just exactly what I want to feel, and it's like a way to convey that energy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The background music is the foundation of your song, whether it be
Mm-hmm.
happy or sad. That's
Yeah,
you lay that down first and then you know where you're going to go. I've seen
that's
many songwriters make the mistake of putting sad words to a happy tune and vice versa, and the
yeah.
song just never goes anywhere because it's
Always the
clashing
melody
inside.
first. Yeah, always
Yes.
the melody first, and then that emotion, that feeling, then it brings the other to it. Then
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
able to say the words. Yeah, trippy. I just wondered if you felt that as well. You work that way.
I work that way.
Okay.
It's
Here's that
interesting that
link.
yeah, a lot of modern music is atonal, really. It's devoid of tone. It's like
I love lots of C's, D's, and E's,
yeah,
G's. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
You can get an app on your
I love
phone
G. Yeah.
that'll slow the music down to a 432 hertz frequency.
Mhm.
I don't
Mhm.
know if that's going to actually do it, but most musicians that I know personally actually back their instruments down about a half an octave, which does bring it back to around 432.
Interesting. So if
Yeah,
you're
I've
in a
heard
good
people.
mood,
Yeah.
you're listening to those tones that make you feel good, and if you're in a sad mood, then you're listening to those tones that kind of bring you down. So it's the
Yeah,
same with the energy
absolutely.
field. It's just the
Yeah.
two.
I
One
have a
is
question
physical.
for the musicians in the room here.
Mm-hmm.
What do you get out of? And I'm not. Oh boy, don't get me wrong. I have not resonated with, or felt in the groove with, or relaxed with, or felt excited by this heavy metal music. It's a lot of throat, like
Oh, that's
more.
Monster Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, doom rock
I
or
Demon
doom
Rock.
metal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah.
just evokes in me a very uneasy feeling, and it's not from old programming. It's not the satanic thing and all that.
No,
So you say
Although,
you'd want to body slam
Well,
somebody when
see,
you hear that
I
music?
think.
yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
think
the
most
thing.
of it. Oh, go ahead.
That's the thing. I took music. I don't play an instrument, although I took music for 4 years. I studied keyboard, and what I've noticed is that musical instruments themselves, the pure tones, those are organic. Those were created by people thousands of years ago. The sound of the drum, the sound of stringed instruments like the piano, or wind instruments like the flute or whatever. Those are organic tones. What you're talking about, Teresa, is heavy metal, and heavy metal. All those instruments are passed through a distortion or pass
Mm-hmm.
through like a pedal of some kind
yeah,
that changes
Yeah.
that and warps the sound
Electrified.
wave. Yeah, it warps the sound wave to something totally
yeah.
unnatural. So those are
Yes.
basically
Feels
unnatural
it
tones.
has a
But it does
feeling.
draw, it draws a crowd because I think it's very attractive to young angst.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
If
yeah,
you go
yeah.
to these live concerts, they've got those moshy pits going on, and they're just kicking themselves and everybody else around them, dancing type thing.
S-
They're just angry, and the music, they go
Yeah,
for
it
that.
feels real thick. It feels real dense. It
Yeah,
feels
Yeah,
real.
answers their anger.
and then on the other side, you have like what I call conveyor belt music, like techno or house music,
Yeah.
which is
Conveyor belt.
conveyor belt music, which is
Is it?
Yeah.
basically a repeating sound or series of sounds over and over again.
Yeah.
And that it tries what that does is that tries to mimic those natural sounds of those natural
Mm-hmm.
organic instruments like the string, the flute, the drum, and stuff like that. And that's
Yeah.
why for some people that could be unnatural and
Hey,
unnerving.
it might feel unnatural and unnerving to me, but could it be for them? It's a release, just like crying is a release when we have to cry.
Sure.
Absolutely. Oh yeah,
It's
Sure.
that's
it's a
all that's
place
going
for
on.
them
Well,
to go, and it's
I
something
mean,
for them to hang out, so they can do a release.
Yeah, they might have a really crappy home life. Who knows what's triggering their direction, you know. But yeah,
yeah, I mean, I appreciate all types of music, all forms
me
of
too.
music,
Mm-hmm.
or like everything from African, Asian, Arabic, anything. The only thing I really hate is like the bagpipe. I just can't
Hmm.
stand that sound, you know?
Really?
Yeah, really. I don't know
Hmm.
why. It
Wow.
just gives me a
Doesn't
headache.
resonate with you.
Well, that's because it's dissonant
Yeah.
frequencies. It's kind of like the sitar, but the sitar is not that annoying because it's also
I
got
like the sitar.
the
Yeah.
resonating sub frequencies, or what are they called? Not subdominant tones, sub
Mm-hmm.
frequencies that are
Yeah.
resonating alongside it.
Mm-hmm.
So you got the same thing going on with the bagpipe, except with the bagpipe, it's just like a piercing square wave. It's a square wave. That's what it
Yeah.
Yeah.
is.
So our
But
bodies are just giant bioenergy fields that just pick up on
yeah.
all types
If
of
Yes.
if
energy.
if we allow that kind of energy as a constant flow into our own biofield, to the extent that we're walking around with headsets on all day and that's all we're listening to,
Mm-hmm.
and we're already at a high state of agitation. We might even have trouble with authority, or we might be having difficulty at school or relationships with other students, and we're just being bombarded, our energy field, constantly with that frequency. I would think that it would do something to totally warp our whole auric field.
Yeah, a lot
I mean,
of people.
how can you heal or get past certain things if
They've
that's
had a
all it is?
rash of people recently who've just been coming off antipsychotic medications,
Yeah, there you go.
who run around with guns, causing lots of people to fall down, who have interesting relations with three-letter agencies. I don't know how that works.
Ah, interesting.
Wow.
I think Tim has something to say.
Well, it just
Yeah.
has to do with the
Yeah.
energy that goes on in the whole planet right now. Your electrical high tension wires create a lot of energy that are not helpful to your body.
Dirty
So
electricity.
how does there actually is a sound that your body can hear. I don't know if you've been around them before, but you can actually hear them. They're like singing. Well, is that singing popular or like is it acceptable to your body? Probably not so much. Also,
Yeah.
some of the sounds and songs that you hear that make you feel emotional, it's them also passed from some happened that when you were younger that made you feel a certain way because maybe you were listening to a song like let's say your first romantic relationship and you had your favorite song. Couples a lot of times pick a song they identify with, so that would also kick in all those memories or feelings from that relationship, and that stems from buried emotions. Our emotions that we tend to bury affect your body somewhere. If they're positive, it's not so obviously it's good. But emotions that are harmful and hurtful eventually create dis-ease in your body.
Yes, that's what I'm getting to.
Totally.
Yeah.
And what I'd like, yeah, continue. Yeah, see, I'd like to tag on to that because what Jim said is actually 100% true, but it's different for the United States and it's different in Europe. In the United States, it's 60 hertz. That's in all the wires, in all the wiring in every house, all over the country. But here in Europe, it's 50. And it's also a flat sine wave, just like it is in the United States, which means it's a neutral tone in both cases. But in other words, we're being inundated with a slightly different, a lower frequency than you guys over there.
Wow.
Right. Wow.
I wonder if
wow.
I wonder if that ties in with the differences between like
Well, I
a
know that
European mentality and an American mentality.
It could be, but the 60 hertz was meant to tie in with our biology. I'm not sure
Was
about
it?
the 50 hertz. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I'm not sure about the 50 hertz. I always thought it'd be a benefit to be over there because your electricity, even though it'd be just as dirty as ours, wouldn't be tuned to our bodies.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would be a benefit or not, but I always thought it would be. But
But just like the telephones that went to the 5G, I'm not an electronic geek, but I can tell you it changed your energy field. And also, just remember when planets realign themselves, like when something goes retrograde, they call it, and just like a full moon, it affects your energy. Look how many people get really emotional under the full moon. All different factors, this is just one thing usually. There's multiple factors that are affecting it. In fact, I had a very unusual night a couple of days ago. I wasn't at home at the time. I was staying in a motel. And the night was actually horrible because it could have been the energy coming from the room next to us. It wasn't loud. But again, sound does not have to be heard. It's a vibration. A frequency reaches a high point. You don't have to actually hear it. It's just your body feels it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that brings a question to my mind for you, Jim.
I can't sleep if I have a mobile phone in this room. I can't sleep. It's got to be on the other side of the house.
Right.
Yeah.
I can believe
that makes sense.
Yep.
My dad was the same
this
way.
window here, if I go just to the side of this window, it's a different tone than when I'm in front of the window because there's a tower straight across that way.
That's what we're talking about.
Aha. Map out your house that way.
Yep.
No, Jim, this is going to sound a little bit off course here, but it's really not because we have to remember that there's some frequencies that all beings have some type of frequency, even spirits.
Right. Absolutely.
So I've been on investigations where we have drawn them out with certain tones or frequencies.
Canceling. Yes.
Yeah.
Everything that, again, back to using, let's just say, Reiki energy, a form of energy of releasing something. Because again, that's a lot of times how when we go do a house clearing, releasing the spirits in there, and that's through bells and intentions of actually the power to claim your power. That's how it's really done. Your power is sound of your own voice. People that scream doesn't scare anybody in the spirit world. If you use the confident sound, the sound of your voice, to say, I command it to be done, it is now done, with confidence.
It's that tone.
Your energy from your own body comes out, and they can feel that.
And your sovereignty.
That's why I felt so uncomfortable. I don't want to name names, but there's a particular investigator who's televised who provokes with screaming, yelling, carrying on, all for show. That's what it's about. And if you really have respect for spirits, you wouldn't do that, number one. And number two,
you don't scream at them. You're wasting time. Talk to them.
It's not really going to evoke them.
That will be done. You hold the power within yourself. Do not ever underestimate your power. You give it away all the time. You're constantly doing it. People, wake up.
The analogy I would use is, you see different things and different patterns under normal light, but if you turn on a UV light, you see completely different things.
Yeah, it's all in the lens.
It's a different frequency of light, and just like if you expose something to a different frequency of sound, you're gonna get something different back.
Yeah, it's all tied together. It's all,
it really is.
I always say, what if you painted your bedroom black or red? You wouldn't sing for beans usually, or it really wouldn't be good at all, because you're surrounding yourself with the energy of color. Even if you're sleeping, it's just back to energy. Color,
there are some Native American rituals I saw Cherokees once perform for helping spirits cross over. They use the flute to do it. There's a certain melody that they use in their ceremony. They burn sage and scents, and they do a dance.
They're creating an energy space for them to enter. It's like before you can cross over, you have to be willingly to step into, let's say, a safe. I call it a safe space. Then they're comfortable with actually crossing over of their own free will, because no one makes you cross over. You do it your own free will.
That's right.
That's the way it is. You can encourage them. A lot of times when people want me to talk to some deceased people, especially that one's just recently died of an overdose. I mean, I constantly get those for some reason. A lot of OD recently. I mean, I just on a week at least.
Wow.
These people, if they just recently died, they're not usually in a very good place. Very seldom are they ready to cross over. But you get to talk to them and get them. You invite their loved ones, which are passed over loved ones, to come and talk with them to convince them that they need to cross over. You don't make them, you encourage.
Can I project, send out my high frequency aura field in the gold or white range to help a spirit, to connect with a spirit, to help them with the frequency they need to move on to?
Oh, certainly, because what is this? It's called intent. What is your intent? It's to help them cross over. Everything starts with intent or prayer. Same difference. There's no difference between what is your intention, to do good? Then that's what your intention is, to help and assist, to do good for somebody or something. Humanity, I call it just in general. Like, what is my intention? To be mean and nasty? Well, sometimes it comes out of me accidentally. I guess it must be. Some people think so, but you get the point. We're still humans. Token, what is your intent?
But you guys, when you're doing Reiki and Scalar, you're actually aware of your chakras and your different energy levels.
Sure.
You're actually working with your auras to interact with other people's auras to help heal them. So why couldn't we do the same thing with spirits who need to cross over?
To remember, to understand self is to help them, because you've understood you, so you see them as the same as you. Because we're all the same, by the way. I look at you people, you look just like me, kind of funny.
Exactly. You got it. I'm on the same page, Jim. I'm on the same page.
We're all on the same page. You really are.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be here if you weren't on the same page.
That's right.
They all look like blobs in my third eye.
Well, it's
We all have a
different.
challenge. Trust
We're
me.
all
We all got
equal.
challenges.
We're
We're
all
all humans.
equal.
Get back to the
Exactly.
human
That's
side
right.
of you. But
Yep.
look at how beautiful you people are. I look past that other side of you, the spirit side. Remember, you have that human side, and I say that it's the human body, but you also have the spiritual body inside the human body.
Right.
And what
Jim?
happens with me, since I leave part of my body behind, when I step into my spirit, I am not very grounded, and people think I'm staggering drunk because I'm not walking straight.
You're just not back. You're not fully
I
back
cannot
in the
function
body yet.
physically. I
Yes.
cannot function physically. I'm not a good
Yeah.
person to function in the physical world because the part
Jim,
of myself is outside my body.
gotcha. Understood. Yeah. Do you see auras, Jim?
Oh
Can
yeah.
you see them?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Again, I don't sit around studying people unless I'm getting real bored. But as a rule, just like how to read an aura, I believe in what I was taught as an aura. My teacher taught us to look for objects a lot of times. Sometimes you actually see people standing next to them, or you
Yes.
see
Yes.
like an object, like a
Big
sword on their
time.
side of their body, and so you know there's those symbols. Like when we teach how to read the tarot cards, it's all through symbolism, and these
Mhm.
symbols are the same thing with your dreams.
Yeah.
Dreams have nothing more than symbols. When
Right.
you know how to translate the symbol, then it's all in one language. It don't matter what language you speak, German, French, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
They
Right.
get the same dreams you get.
Mm-hmm.
It's symbolism. And one of the surest things I like for a little humor to throw at you, if you have a dream where you're intending to have sex with somebody, it's not really sex. You're intending to talk to them. Believe it or not. You should talk.
Intercourse. Yeah.
Yes, that's what it's all about, is to communicate with each other. Because that's really what you're supposed to be doing. But intimacy is talking about things that are difficult sometimes to admit to. That's also communicating.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See? Intimacy is not sex. It's willingness to talk to another person without fear of what they might say, what you're saying to them.
Bingo. Bingo.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all.
That's
really-
true intimacy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Excuse my expression. It's like me dropping down my pants and saying, "You got nothing to worry about. Nothing's going to happen."
I love that.
Woo! On that
I
note,
was sitting in a airport bar, and we were snowed in. I was in Chicago. I was at O'Hare. We weren't going to go anywhere, and we had been there for hours. And I thought, I'm never going to see home again. This is getting ridiculous. And I saw auras on many people. I saw their auras, and they were all feeling anxiety, tension, frustration. Everything was at the root chakra. They were just not happy people, and I could see that aura. And then one time, now this is along the similar lines to what Jim was just saying, I got dragged into, I had to go get my team of guys out of a bar in Georgetown. And it just happened to be Camelot's, which is a strip club. And I had them at a retreat out in Virginia, and I had to get them into the van and back to the retreat center because I was responsible for them. They were my team. I could not get them out of there. So I had to actually go in to talk to one of them and say, you got to help me get the rest of the guys out of here. No sooner would I put two in the van to go in to get the other two in the van were gone and had gone back in. So this was going on, and I saw the auras, and you talk about red. I mean, they were 100% operating in the red, orange range, mostly red. And I'm like, I'm never going to get them out of here. Never going to get them out of here because I can't fight that. That's a very, even though it's a low frequency, it's also a very, very center of their root, So it's like, it was really impossible. But I could see the auras, and it frightened me because I didn't know about auras then. I didn't know what I was really seeing.
Huh. Yeah, I could see how that could be confusing.
It was very
Most
confusing.
definitely. Yeah.
And I'm like,
auras? Do you see auras?
I do. Yes. Yes. Like I said, it depends on the backdrop, and the lighting. It has to catch it just right. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And you can see sometimes one, possibly two figures standing behind the person sometimes, and I don't know how you see them, but I'll see their general aura, and there's like these energies that are like white gold behind them.
Wow.
That's how I see them.
I don't really see auras. I pick up more intuitively. Like I can pick up the energy, no problem, like instantly. I could be in line with somebody at the store and I know how they're feeling or what's going on. I know exactly what they're going to say in the next moment or how they're going to react. So if I'm within a physical I kind of can sense that really easy, but I don't see visually, I don't see anything. I just feel everything.
She feels,
Yeah.
and she has incredible intuition.
And I would
I
say
do.
that then you have a very powerful aura. You have a very powerful
Yes.
energy going around you, because when that other person is touching or breaking that, you're picking up instantly what's going on with them. And
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. Wow.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I think
I
it all
get
ties in with instincts. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
get the
definitely.
visuals. I get the visuals too, but only if it's like a like an overwhelming thing, something that you feel that even somebody who's not into this type of thing would pick up on.
Right.
In that case, I would definitely see it. But it's really easy if somebody is like sitting in a subway and you're looking at them against the dark background of the window glass and the dark, like on a New York City subway. You can see a lot of different auras, except that in a situation like New York City, people don't want to interact. It's very, very. Everybody's in
Their
their own
auras are
little
closed
bubble.
in.
Yeah.
Everybody's in their own
Yeah.
bubble. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can imagine,
Wow.
especially right now. Oh boy.
No doubt.
Well, we're at 10:32. We've been doing this for an
Perfect.
hour and a half, and
Loving
Brian,
it.
fantastic. And
Thank
I know
you,
you
Brian.
probably
No
have
doubt.
more. And if you get an update later, a couple months from now or whatever, or even a month from now, if you want to come back and give us an update, if you're still doing it with your research,
Yeah, I'm gonna continue to do
if you
this.
learn something new or different, you want to bring it to the table,
Please share.
please
Yeah.
share.
What
Really.
would be really interesting would be to see if you could put AI under that gizmo,
Yeah.
and see what you come up with. If there's a way to do that, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
take a computer and set it to the Google homepage and see what that reads out.
Yeah.
Huh.
Interesting.
And Jim, all my relations, they had one heck of a sale going on for fall. Just going into October, I'm sure Christmas is coming too.
Yeah.
And Heather will probably have some special deals on her website that she'll be advertising, right?
Well, always. Right now, the whole month of November, they have all our amethysts at half off, or not 25%.
Oh, really?
Anything that's amethyst, if it's jewelry, we have very large pieces, and of course, we have even dollar-sized amethyst. So
Nice.
And of course, that is probably our most popular stone to begin with. Anyways, we sell a ton of it.
Yeah.
Literally,
Excellent.
a ton. We do, and rose quartz. Those are the two most popular stones because they're reasonably, when it comes to price, they're not too expensive. There's some people walk in the store and ask for this, and they expect to find it for $10. Folks, they don't have any $10 size.
I wouldn't think so.
I don't think so.
Little bitty pieces, the size of a quarter or a nickel, you can spend $100 on easily on some stuff. And
I saw you had a giant geode.
Cathedral.
Oh my God, I want that so bad.
It's called a cathedral. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I wonder what body part that will be.
Oh yeah, now John here, John here. He does find these stones that are actually I want to say the word fossilized, but that's not the right word, is it, John? They're organs, like
mud
hearts.
fossils. Yeah, mud
fossils.
They're fossilized.
Yeah, there's these.
This
one.
That looks like a liver. That's a liver.
Oh wow, Max! He just said it right off, like you
picked it right out.
Yeah,
that's a liver.
Yeah, it is.
That's been colored, honey.
Yeah,
that's
no way.
Yes, they like to sell it in colors. They it's different levels of what do you call it in there to give beauty and attraction to it. That's why they're very popular in chunks like that. A lot of people buy them. They're very.
What have you got? What's Max? What are you holding up there?
A goose or a swan heart.
Yeah, that is really unusual.
Yeah,
you can even see where the blood comes out on the top, and there's it's got all the features. It's got the separations of the chambers there.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is pretty awesome.
Chambers.
That's what I know what you're talking about. Because you find
Yeah.
what symbolizes organ parts or body parts.
Yeah.
I'm very happy Max Cat isn't
Then you got to
munching
use
on it.
sometimes a little imagination, but sometimes you don't have to see. I've seen pieces that look like a heart, actually.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But again, it depends. I think what is a heart shape like? Go to
He's got a heart.
animal.
Here.
I've got a human heart, one
Very
similar
cool.
to a human heart.
There you go. That's an awesome
Mhm,
piece.
mhm.
There are
Right,
several
again,
features.
He has a knack for finding body parts, I call it.
He
It's
does.
a mud fossil.
But,
Yeah, it is awesome. That's fantastic.
a foot.
Mary's got a few heart and kidney.
Yeah, that's
heart,
a
kidney,
foot.
and
Yeah, it does
liver.
look
That's
like a
cool,
foot.
Mary. Very
Oh, it
cool.
is.
Wow.
And Chloe had a heart. I think.
Wow, you
Mhm.
guys. Well, that's
I had a heart. I have a heart.
your gifts are oozing out of your bodies right now. Out of your head, by the way, too. By the way,
Ah, the crown
Well,
chakra.
check out the
What
deals,
happened-
you guys. Check
what
out the
happened
deals
to
at all
his
my
head
relations.
right there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What happened
they
to
got everything
John
there.
Hart? John
Yeah.
Hart, when he started showing those rocks, literally jumped out of his body. I can see that. It was kind of cool.
Oh, you did? You saw that?
Wow.
Yeah. Again,
Wow.
I back to sensing, like you said, you don't have to necessarily see them because that's only a perspective of yourself. And when you think of what you feel,
Like a nice
it's
piece
like-
of meat.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, that's prime rib, not prime rib.
Yeah. I tell you, it looks like I
That's-
took it to work and the guy said, what are you doing?
Joy in finding those body parts. That's why he loves doing it symbolically. That's why your heart jumped out of you.
Yeah.
It said, I'm happy. I'm joyful. Let me show you.
Yes.
You just said by your own body energy field.
You're
My
welcome,
wife
Chloe.
found this one and I found the this one.
Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. You have a wonderful collection started right there.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, keep looking. You might find some more because
Oh my
asking-
God, he
See.
could build his own human.
Yes. That's right. You could be one of the
I got the liver, Max.
Right on.
Well, having
All
fun
right.
with it. Have some fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim, you're
And-
such a wealth of knowledge. I so
Yeah.
enjoy having you on. It's just
Well,
wonderful.
thank you. Well, I've just been very blessed to have some very good teachers in my life, and
Yes, you
Funny.
have.
a lot of times people say, "How did you learn so much?" I must be so stupid. I don't know. That's how I tell it. Too stupid to know. I just know it.
Yeah. I
Much
love that.
gratitude and appreciation for joining us and helping us out and being so
Absolutely.
good with our brother Brian. And
Brian as well.
Well,
Yep.
Brian's
Yep.
quite the young. He's still a youngster to me. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
uh-huh.
Even though there's gray here.
But he's
Yeah.
got the gray beard. You don't, Jim. There you go.
I like to keep-
Smoking and G is
No, I
changing
never-
her showtime from Wednesday evenings to what, Sunday or Monday? Your
That's
Have you
correct.
decided?
I'm probably going to do like a waffling, sometimes
Okay.
Sundays, sometimes Mondays, maybe both. Thanks
Okay.
for, thanks for mentioning that.
Awesome.
What's a
Max,
waffling?
back and forth. Back and forth.
Hang on a second. I just want to get her some more views and some more subscriptions. She's been able to have some really fascinating discussions. And
Thanks.
I liked her series that she's doing with Robert on Antarctica. That was fantastic. And John joined in on that, Max Vision.
It was
And
fun.
so, folks, if you haven't checked out her channel, Smoking in G Sharp, please go subscribe. And even if you can't make it live, she's got some fascinating discussions from anything from paranormal to current events, conspiracy,
Yes, of course.
and just general research. And she's got her finger in a little bit of everything, and it's
I
a
do.
fantastic time. Yeah, fantastic time. And Max, you have your remote viewing classes not just on Friday nights or Saturday nights. You also have them on sometimes on Friday night after our show, don't you?
Yeah, I'm doing one tonight.
Great.
You're doing
Cool.
one for
Good
the
deal.
remote viewing tonight. Okay.
And I'm on tomorrow
Good.
night with Robert B. on
Oh,
Milky Way
good.
wonderful.
Central,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
What's the topic? You're
Yeah.
I'd have to look, but every time we talk, it's a very interesting discussion that flows organically based on things that we're both very familiar with.
yeah.
So
Awesome.
it should be
Okay.
an interesting
It's
discussion.
good to see the brothers together doing that. You know,
Yeah,
It's good to see the
most
bonding
definitely.
in the yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
So
All
tomorrow
right.
night you're on with Robert. Max is
Mhm.
doing both his remote viewing classes tonight and tomorrow night.
Yep.
Right,
And
Max?
sometimes I do chat. I usually do a chat show either Saturday or Sunday
Yeah, I
in the
love those
daytime.
because I can make those live.
Just about anything. Nothing in particular.
Yeah, I love those shows because I can actually catch them live most of the time. The late night remote viewing is what I have a hard time staying up for.
Mhm.
Sometimes it depends. It
It's the
depends.
witching hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, witching hour.
Yeah.
All right,
Good
so that
stuff.
covers everybody,
Sure
right?
does. Yep.
All right.
Want to thank
Thank you so
everybody for
much.
being here. Thank you, everyone in chat. Thank you, panel. We'll see you next week. And always much love and peace.
Peace out.